Welcome back to Coffee Infused Crypto, the perfect place of sipping our favorite coffee while brewing the blockchain. And today we're gonna discuss Bitcoin halving. What does it mean? When is it gonna happen? And how does it affect you? The Bitcoin halving, first of all, let's define it. It's when the reward of the Bitcoin mining is cut in half every time, every 4 years. So it happens every 4 years. And the policy was written into the Bitcoin mining algorithm to counteract inflation so that the mining scarcity kicks in and we will have less Bitcoin produced. So miners do mine Bitcoin, and every time they do, every block produced, which is once every 10 minutes approximately, will have a certain number of Bitcoin. Before 2009 and up to 2009, we've had 50 Bitcoins per block mined for miners. And after that, the first halving occurred in 2012, and then we reduced to 25 Bitcoins per block, and that went all the way with us till 2016, where we've had the halving here. Okay, so now Bitcoin was producing 12.5 Bitcoins every 10 minutes for every block. And in 2020, we've had the last halving, and the halvings are marked in green lines here, and we'll deep dive into them. So in 2020, Bitcoin had the halving, and every block produces up till now 6.25 Bitcoins every 10 minutes per block. So far, Bitcoin has mined, or the network has mined 19.29 Bitcoins as of February 14, 2023, as of yesterday. And the remaining supply to mine is up to 21 million, right? So it's 1.7 million Bitcoin left to mine. And the process of halving will happen once every 4 years. So the next halving we're having will be approximately in March of 2024. And this is the green line, all right? So first of all, and here we'll be competing, miners will be competing for 3.125 Bitcoin per block. So the rewards are less and less. All right, so let's take that out of the way and go back in history, check what happened with every halving. So the 2012 halving, the green line here, we've had the peak, two peaks. Bitcoin rallied 1,300 and 13,240%. All right. So halvings and what happens after the halving, we noticed here that the Bitcoin just rallied massively here. All right, so let's take this and check other halvings, what happened. In 2016 as well, Bitcoin rallied and formed an all-time high back then. So after the green line halving, the halving price tends to pump and aggressively. Here we've had like 12,000%. In 2020, what happened after the halving? So in 2020, halving here, Bitcoin jumped all the way up, forming the all-time high as well in weeks to follow. And this is the weekly, so every candle is 1 week. So we've concluded like 1,678% to be exact. So we've concluded so far, looking at history, that every time the halving occurs, okay, the price tends to jump. Bitcoin price tends to rally and aggressively. So how to prepare? When's the halving? The halving is happening Monday 11th, approximately 11th, 15th of March 2024. So let's say in the middle of March, plus or minus. All right, so how to prepare for the halving and what to expect. Here I've done some research, and I've like dug deep down and figured out like the price doesn't actually pump after the halving. What happens is the price usually continues rallying after the halving. What happened in 2012, the price actually started pumping way before, from Monday 7th of November 2011, and it pumped all the way up. So I marked that bottom, that cycle bottom here, it was the bottom, in this blue line, all right? And I've calculated the time it took to reach the halving, and that was 378 days. So 378 days prior in 2012, we've had this rally, and it continued aggressively with a blow off top after the halving. What happened in 2015 was the bottom was in 17th of August 2015, and the market actually started rallying 322 days before the halving happened. And once the halving happened, the price just parabolically jumped up. All right, in 2020 we've had the halving here, but the bottom was way before, and the price rallied and then jumped all the way up after the halving. So it started rallying 63 days before the halving actually occurred. All right, so I've added up 322, 63 and 378 days divided by 3, and knowing when the halving is, I've took the average, and that was 252 days on average, plus or minus a couple of weeks. We're just speculating the future. The first part was proof and facts and history with proven numbers. Now it's a speculation part and playing with numbers a bit, just to have a perspective where we might go and how to start preparing. So history tells us that starting this blue line approximately, Bitcoin should have either experienced bottom on this blue line or have had the bottom before the blue line, and anything after the blue line should be a preparation to the halving, which should continue into the post-halving momentum that Bitcoin witnesses. All right, so, and this is the green zone that supports us, right? So this is the green zone that that helps, that shows us the whole cycle and where the potential of us to be going. So now we're today is February 15, and we have a couple of months till July. So keep in mind the date, keep in mind the process of what happened in history and how we might proceed from there. I've copied the 3 prior runs for Bitcoin from the blue line and projected them from approximation here, from where the blue line is here now. The green one to be the last run, and the orange one to be the one before, and the blue line to be the first run. If we've noticed then that when Bitcoin was younger and more volatile, the runs towards the upside were massive. In comparison to the second, in comparison to the third, it's mild, and the fourth should be a bit milder, right? But in any case scenario, and that's how people, you see $1 million Bitcoin, $500,000 Bitcoin, $100,000 Bitcoin. This is the process people do in projecting to the future. So if Bitcoin did the same run that it did in 2020 after the halving and the halving effect, then that would be, Bitcoin would be hitting 145,000, yeah, $145,000 at its peak of this halving. And if it performed like the one before the last, like in 2016, then Bitcoin would hit 756,000 if it accomplishes. And that's how exactly people, that's how they speculate or project into the future. We're not gonna go into exact numbers, but what I'm interested in is marking the dates prior to the halving. This is where we should be positioning ourselves in the market in anticipation of the halving, which will happen a couple of months after 252, almost over half a year later. So positioning in the market previously or prior gives us a better chance of reaping more benefits, right? It's a first come first served area. So to put things in other perspective, let's turn on this and see where we are today. This is the logarithmic Bitcoin chart, and this will tell us. So usually tops occur around the top, around the red, the orange and yellow lines, and bottoms are oversold technically, and bottom of bear markets, right? This is the bottom, was purple. We have gray below, which we tapped in 2015, and the tops usually occur on the very top of the logarithmic regression. And this is called the rainbow chart. If you want, look it up. It's fun to watch, and it's a very good indicator for the long-term investing of where to buy and how to manage. So whenever we start crossing the blue zone, right, so in 2017 we had a top at the yellow zone, which is like fairly hot. So imagine the red is really extreme hot and the purple and gray is extreme cold. So you want to position yourself in the market when it's extreme cold so that you can benefit from the gains, right? So in 2019 we touched purple, and then COVID dipped us into gray, which was an amazing buy, no doubt about it, because right after COVID we've had this top of $69,000, nice, which was at blue. But where are we today? And that's why you hear that everything is on fire sales. We're even below the logarithmic regression rainbow chart. So we're even like discount on a discount, and that's due to many factors of FUD and the market right now. But that is the perfect time if I want to prepare to the Bitcoin halving, to be accumulating and starting to position myself before the 3rd of July approximately, having my bags filled and riding the next halving and the price action alongside with it. This was everything for today regarding Bitcoin halving. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this was helpful, and see you tomorrow. Have a good one.